our final speaker. I'm so excited that Murray Sheldon could join us. Murray is the Associate Director of Technology and Innovation at the FDA Center for Devices and Radiologic Health, and he will talk to us about FDA as a driver of medical device and innovation. Murray, I see that you're all set. Oscar, if you could bring him up.
So I'm really happy to be working at this MedTech conference, working with Paul Grand and everybody else. It's been terrific. I've been listening to most of it for the last 2 days and very impressed with a lot of the technology. I'm going to talk to you today about some of our new programs at the FDA Center for Devices and Radiologic Health, especially with the emphasis for FDA to actually become a driver of medical device innovation. We feel that this is really important, and we feel it's also within our realm to be able to improve healthcare for the population. We regulate medical devices, but that is our process. Our goal and vision is to improve healthcare for our population and those around the world. Can I go to the next slide? Are my slides up? So I just want to comment that although we are the device center and we regulate devices, that's not what our main job is. It's patients. Patients are really at the heart of what we do, and that's why our vision statement begins with the word patients. That patients in the U.S. shall have access to high-quality, safe, and effective medical devices of public health importance first in the world. And that's really our goal, and that's how we think about our jobs every single day. So I want to just give you a context for our Breakthrough Devices program, which is the area that I'd like to speak to you mostly about. We tested it out in the early days, 2011, with predecessor programs, including the Innovation Pathway and Expedited Access. But in 2016, the 21st Century Cures Act gave us authority to establish a program to expedite development and review of certain types of devices, which was the Breakthrough Devices program. And we issued guidance in 2018 to implement how this program is to work. Now, it's very important to understand that when FDA puts a product on the market, gives market authorization, there is always a level of uncertainty. We can never be 100% certain that a product is safe and effective for use. And as a matter of fact, that is not the regulatory standard. The regulatory standard is a reasonable assurance, not absolute assurance of safety and efficacy. And we think that under certain circumstances, and our Breakthrough Devices is one of them, it's important to potentially put a product on the market with a greater level of uncertainty than we might otherwise. And the reason are based on the terms of what a breakthrough product is. So the breakthrough pathway, which I mentioned started in 2018, has several features that you can see on the right side. There's a priority review, timely and interactive communication with what we call sprint conversation, senior management involvement. But one of the more important aspects is the pre-post-market balance, where we determine how much information that we need in the pre-market versus how much information can we gain in the post-market. And just to give you a few numbers, since the program started, 417 devices have been accepted. The first breakthrough device was approved in 2017, and so far there are now 23 devices that have been granted market authorization. So let's talk about the eligibility requirements. How can your device be considered a breakthrough? First of all, it can be medical device or a device-led combination product, but it must be subject to pre-market authorization either via a PMA, a de novo, or a 510K, and it meets the breakthrough criteria specified in Section 515B of the FDA and Cosmetic Act. All of a sudden, I'm not able to move my screen. Here we go. So breakthrough device criteria number 1. These are for life-threatening or irreversibly debilitating human diseases or conditions. And that's why we want these products to get to patients as soon as possible. And while in general, we want these to provide for more effective treatment or diagnosis of these conditions, most of the time, what we're really looking at is unmet need. And once that we've recognized that it's for a life-threatening or irreversibly debilitating condition, it then needs to meet one of the subparts in criteria 2. The first, that it represents a breakthrough technology or for which no approved or cleared alternatives exist. So this is really for unmet needs, most importantly. But it may also be that other products do exist and that this product offers significant advantages that would need to be described. But we have a catch-all, 2D, that we say the availability of which is in the best interest of patients to give this criteria and call it a breakthrough device. I've got a little bit of numbers about the program in general. So far, we've had 911 submissions. As you can see, about half have been granted. Some have been withdrawn, and they've been growing and increasing over the years. In terms of area of designation by clinical panels, you can see the majority are in the area of cardiovascular, but neurology also has quite a few products that have been granted this designation. Of the 23 that have been market authorized, the majority are in neurology, and then we have a smattering in cardiovascular pathology, microbiology, and GI, as you can see in this screen. So the most important aspect of a breakthrough product is that it gets to patients. But we know that FDA approval or marketing authorization does not always equal patient access. And a lot of this has to do with addressing reimbursement and insurance-related challenges along the way. And of course, if you're going to have a pre-post-market balance shift and put a product on the market with greater uncertainty in the pre-market, it's going to make it that much more difficult for insurers to provide coverage. And then without coverage, without patient access, how do you develop that data that's necessary to show that it is in the best interest of patients and that improves healthcare outcomes? Well, we've worked with a lot of payers, and I just want to describe a couple of new programs with CMS that relate to our breakthrough program. And the first is the MCIT program, which is Medicare coverage of innovative technologies that was just finally published in the beginning of this year in January. And you can see that its effect should begin just a few days from now, March 15th. Just as an aside, we are aware that there may be a hold on Federal Register approvals and publications from the last administration. We hope that this does not get caught up in that and that this actually starts on March the 15th. And a few points about this. The MCIT was based on President Trump's executive order 13890, protecting and improving Medicare for our nation's seniors. And what it develops is a new coverage pathway for FDA designated breakthrough medical devices that says that CMS will provide national Medicare coverage as early as the same day as the FDA would give market authorization, and that the coverage would last 4 years. And they anticipate that during this 4-year period, all of the additional data about these devices would be developed in the post-market. A few facts: manufacturers can opt in, and they can choose a start date. Of course, as we mentioned, it has to meet the breakthrough criteria from the 21st Century Cures Act. And in addition, these devices must have a Medicare benefit category. And we're seeing that this is a little bit of a problem with some of the new digital health technologies that currently do not have Medicare benefit categories. And we're working with Medicare to expand either old ones or create new ones. But after 4 years, when MCIT sunsets, manufacturers will again have all of their opportunities of more standard coverage available, and CMS will be gathering further information from the manufacturers. Now, when products are used in the post-market, they may or may not necessarily be under label. For the MCIT program, the device must be used under the FDA approved or cleared indications for use, which is commonly referred to as on-label. If it's not used on-label, it will not be covered. So the conditions of the approval are critically important for how these products are used. Conclusion after 4 years of coverage of MCIT is that the company should be working with CMS as well as other payers to develop the data over that 4-year period, and then to be presenting it back to the payer to get a permanent coverage determination, either a national coverage, an NCD, or a local coverage, or other types of coverage to continue keeping these products available for patients, assuming that the data shows that it does give effective diagnosis or treatment of the condition. Now, another aspect of CMS on the payment side is a new technology add-on payment system that began a little bit earlier that also links to our breakthrough program. This is specifically for FDA breakthrough designated devices, as well as FDA qualified infectious disease product designation. And what this does, it also increases payments to the use of the product from 50%, which would be the standard new technology add-on payment, to 65%. And for qualified infectious disease products, it even goes up to 75%. And by delivering this guaranteed coverage, and additional payment will enable the companies to continue to utilize the products over the 4-year period to be able to develop all the data that's necessary. So with this, I'd like to end my talk and leave a few moments for questions that we hope that this new approach with our breakthrough and with our CMS partners will enable driving of innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Murray. We do have some questions for you.
Okay.
And that was just fantastic to hear about. I think it opens up a lot of doors for those of us in this industry. So the first question is there a list of FDA breakthrough designation devices on the FDA website, and where can people find such information?
Yes, we maintain a list of our designated, it's public information. When we designate a product as a breakthrough, actually, when we designate them as breakthrough, they may or may not be publicly reported. When they are market authorized, then it will be publicly reported when it's available for use on the market. And it will also include the fact that it has a breakthrough designation.
Thank you. You talked about the challenges for some digital health innovations with MCIT. What is it that companies that are working on those, is there anything that they can do to help move things along in terms of the Medicare benefit categories or engaging with the FDA?
That's a difficult question because we've run a lot of issues with benefit categories. As you know, a lot of the Medicare benefit categories don't allow for hearing aids or glasses or other products like this that senior citizens often need. But I think that manufacturers who are developing these really just need to develop a value proposition and to go directly to CMS and say, look, this is what we have. We can demonstrate that patients have improved healthcare outcomes, hopefully at a lower cost. That would be even better, but at least improved healthcare outcomes, and that they would be seeking a benefit category.
Great. You also mentioned sort of the catch-all, I'm jumping around, of 2D that's in the best interests of the patients. And is that just sort of that broad on purpose? Is there anything people can do, again, to sort of encourage getting that kind of designation, I guess?
No, it's broad on purpose to maintain flexibility, that if there's a product that appears to meet an unmet need for a condition that's life-threatening or irreversibly debilitating, and it seems to be in the best interest, so that when we look at it in the pre-market, the risks are not that great, or we understand of that product from other similar products that we have looked at in the past, we will go ahead and designate that as breakthrough if it appears to be in the best interest of patients. Because I mentioned in the beginning, that's really what we do at CDRH. Although we regulate medical devices, regulation is our process. What our goal is to improve healthcare for the population.
Fantastic. And I know there are a lot of people who are very excited about the MCIT program and the impact that it will have. If people have further questions, what's the best way for them to engage with CDRH?
So we have my title is Associate Director of Technology and Innovation, and we have an innovation group, and we have an innovation mailbox as well as innovation website. So if you just go any Google search of FDA innovation, it'll pop right up. My name will pop up. Our mailbox will pop up. The other people working with me will pop up, and just send us a message and we'll get back to you.
Fantastic. And so we have one more question. If we have a potential breakthrough designation device, which can be used both inpatient or outpatient, for example, remote monitoring or telehealth, will this be considered when the FDA approves indications for use? For example, will a device only get breakthrough approval and indicated use under IPPS or an alternate pathway?
That is really up to the manufacturer and the sponsor of the device on what is the intended use. All of our market authorizations are based on intended use. If the manufacturer has its intended use as an inpatient, they say it as an inpatient. If it says an outpatient, fine, or either or both, that's okay too. We know that CMS payments for inpatient and outpatients are different, but that isn't, I don't believe, will be taken into consideration. If it's breakthrough designated by FDA and it's market authorized, then however it was market authorized based on its intended use will be how it needs to be used.
Thank you. Murray, it was so great to have you. Thank you for giving us the time. And as I told you before, we just loved having you as sort of the way to cap off the day with us. With that, I'm just going to say to the audience, thank you so much for joining us today. It was so great to have you to celebrate, medtech innovation in the greater LA area. And again, appreciate people who've been joining us from very far away.